Hi, welcome to Bark Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The KRAKEN SEA by E. Catherine Tobler. The KRAKEN Sea is a sort of dark fantasy, cross-genre novella that has been on my radar for a long time. It came out in 2016. It has a lot of those elements that I really like. Sea creatures, tentacles, orphans in the 19th century. And for some reason, I never quite got around to it until now. And I'm so glad that I finally did, because it really is a remarkable novella. It's thoughtful, it's surreal and dreamlike. It's touched by a number of different cultures and the sort of melting pot of America and magical crime and coming-of-age stories, growing up and learning who you are in the world and the tangled threads of fate, and just a very special sort of novella, and one that I'm glad was waiting for me when I finally got to read it, after having looked at it on my shelf and having looked at it on lists for years and years. It's nice to find a joy and a satisfaction in a book that has sort of been waiting for you for a long time. And so, of course, we had to have a drink. The KRAKEN Sea, it's the story of a young man, an orphan, who has a tentacled beast that he is, a kraken, a sea creature, a monster, coils of tentacles that lurk just beneath his skin. His sort of presentation of humanity as a boy is a facade and something that he always has to sort of keep in check. And he finds himself traveling across the country from the orphanage where he grew up to San Francisco, where he's been adopted by a mysterious and magical lady who collects these sorts of strange magical items and people, as much as one can collect people. She's got a valet who is sort of different but similar, also has that tinge of monstrousness to him, and a collection of strange ritual items that she continues to have, and her bordello there in 19th century San Francisco. So we have this wonderful confluence of factors, a new place, a sort of licentious environment, a struggle with who the self is and who the self is in relation to the community that Jackson, our young protagonist, experiences over the course of the novella. And all in this sort of hazy ink splot, ink spray like a squid might have sort of vibe and feeling throughout. And so we had to have our drink. Our drink today is the Tentacled Orphan, inspired by the KRAKEN Sea, and we're going to start with our base spirit, which is 2 ounces of dry vermouth. This is going to be a nice low ABV sipper. That dried vermouth, it's only about 15% alcohol by volume, so really good for sort of aperitif and opening cocktails, something just light and refreshing, but not something that's going to knock you on the head like an enormous tentacle would. And so we're going to get our 2 ounces of dry vermouth in there, and then we're going to set this aside very briefly and get our glass out, because we are going to take a bar spoon of molasses and just sort of drizzle that along the edge and in the base of our glass, so that it sort of coats the bottom of the glass, gives it a nice bit of rich darkness, just a little bit to get us started there. And we'll set our prepared glass aside, and add our modifiers to our main cocktail. going to add half an ounce of green chartreuse, which is going to have this herbal, very refreshing quality. It's much on my mind this time of year, as you can tell. We used it last week. Odds are good we'll be using it again before too long here, because it really is just a very nice sort of herbal liqueur to use for like spring and summertime. It's going to bring a really rich herbal complexity and that sort of cooling, mentholated quality to everything you put it in. So we've got our dry vermouth, our green chartreuse, we have our prepared glass with that little bit of molasses, and then we're going to add half an ounce of seaweed syrup. This is the syrup that we make by infusing a batch of simple syrup with 1 sheet of nori sushi paper, so this sort of seaweed sushi wrapper material, and that's going to bring that real oceanic, briny umami. That's where the Kraken Sea is. It's this sort of ingredient that we like to use when things are, wet and benthic and muddy river silt and rich and flavorful. And so we're going to get half an ounce of that into our Tentacled Orphan, and then we will add our ice. Always, we add our ice last. Everything must be done in its proper time. We can't let our threads get tangled here, and we'll give that a stir. And of course, we'll get a little bit of the leftover molasses from our spoon on there as well, which is just easy cleaning. And we'll give that a good stir until the level of the liquid and the level of the ice are at sort of an equilibrium. It's going to give us a nice dilution and really bring those flavors together. Lovely. Set our spoon aside. Get our julep strainer for the mixing glass and strain into our prepared cocktail glass. Perfect. Lovely, rich sea, algal, kelp forest, rich, beautiful green, and that darkness there at the heart of it. And so there you have it. This is the Tentacled Orphan, inspired by the Kraken Sea by E. Catherine Tobler. The Kraken Sea is available now. I've got a link to snag it in the description below, as well as links to various forms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, where there is always a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you've read the Kraken Sea already, then I would love to hear your thoughts about it. If you have not, definitely go and check it out. Hit that like button, please, please, please. It makes me so very happy when you do, and it really helps us to find new audiences. And so, until next time, cheers.